Bon dia. My name is Rosalina Michael and I live in Andorra. And I have a channel on psychology and on bibliography. I just made that up. On Christianity. And so last night I did film and load up on Romans that I have been covering, and so I'm busy in the process of chapter 2 of Romans, but right now I'm wanting to talk about my next topic on my psychology channel. I'm very interested in, excuse my kitten, I'm very interested in personality disorders and maladaptive personality. All types of things. So I will be doing borderline today, and I'll probably be doing antisocial the next time I film. And yes, so what I also wanted to do was to talk about the reason that I have this channel on psychology in particular. So I have spoken in my introduction quite a few months ago about why I'm starting the psychology channel. It is something that I studied when I was at university. It is something that I am passionate about. I am passionate about reading people, understanding the brain, understanding emotions, understanding why people behave the way that they do, even if their desires are different, even if their ambitions, even if they are ambitious, why would they procrastinate? Things like this. How fear affects us, how a chemical imbalance in the brain can affect us, how stress affects the brain, and therefore we behave a certain way. Okay, sorry, my cats are all over the table here, so they might actually get in the way as I'm talking. So because I don't work in psychology, for many years I wanted to work in psychology, but in the circumstance that I'm in, I'm a teacher in Europe, and I absolutely love my job, but it doesn't mean that I don't love psychology. And so one of the reasons why I have this channel is so I can talk about topics that I enjoy. I can post it, and if anybody's watching it, they can either like it or they can disagree with it, and they can share their comments. And to eventually have a channel that's long lasting and that has different ideas and different perspectives that are sent to me through the comments, so that I can also learn from it. Because what I'm doing is I'm taking what I've learned and what I still read about today, and I'm taking my own experiences of anxiety, and I'm taking the experiences of having friends with bipolar, and having friends with borderline, and having friends with people who struggled with different mental illness and were struggling with the correct medication or to get the correct help that they needed, and all these things. And I enjoy talking about it because it does actually affect my life. It does impact how I make choices and the people that I spend time with. And I learn a lot of psychology through people giving their opinion, through people giving me their perspective, and realizing the difference between a subjective and objective perspective, and the difference between experience, personal experience, or just being a witness of somebody who struggles with mental illness. And so what I wanted also for this platform to be was a space where if you're struggling with mental illness and you worry people will judge you, or you're worried that people will stigmatize you, or you're worried that people will say offensive things, this is an open space to say it is okay that you feel this way. It is okay that you have mental illness, or that you have anxiety and you take medication for it, or that you have depression and you take medication for it. It is okay. And it's not, I understand that some people don't understand it. I understand that some people think it's a choice. understanding that some people lack empathy. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can be difficult for somebody who struggles with mental illness and they don't feel accepted by society. And so obviously you do get hospitals where you would go for, that you might be sent to for schizophrenia or for extreme cases of behavior where you might be a danger to yourself or to others, and society has to be protected. But it still doesn't necessarily mean that you cannot be loved, that you cannot accept yourself, that you cannot contribute to society. It still doesn't mean that people get to say mean things about you or make you feel small for having a problem. But on the other side of that is, if you do suspect that you do have mental illness, I encourage you to go and find out from a psychiatrist, because it can cause pain on people around you if you are acting a certain way, and it could end up hurting them. And in a way, what it is that then it's self-destructive to yourself, because if you're hurting them, they're going to react a certain way. So either you'll be having a lot of conflict, or you'll lose a lot of friendships, or you're just going to find it difficult with, if you're in school, for example, or if you're at university, or if you have a job and you can't do well in your grades because you're acting out, or whatever the case is, or you sleep too much, or you're just not giving you productive work. It can self-sabotage you if you don't get it solved, or not necessarily solved, but medicated and talk therapy, if you don't address it. So as much as it's something that other people might be getting hurt through, it's also, if I can explain it, that when you hurt people, you will be hurt in return, just in the way that you treat them. So you might end up losing people, and it can hurt. You might end up getting into a lot of fights with different people, because what they're doing is they're standing up for themselves, and they're standing up for protecting themselves to a point. Or you might get expelled from school or from university, or you might get fired regularly from different jobs because of the way that you behave. And that is called self-sabotaging. So you constantly, chronically, your behavior is constantly causing drama and destruction in your life. And the thing is that there is a certain amount of choice in that, because you can ask for help. And so I would encourage you to do that. I don't think self-diagnosing is healthy, but I do think doing research so that you can go to your psychiatrist and say, this is what I think and this is what I feel. I say that quite regularly. Do research, but also go to a psychiatrist, because it would be the same thing as you feel like you have knee problems. So you do a little bit of research, and Google tells you this, Google tells you that, and you get an idea of how to describe where the pain is and what the pain is, so that you can go to the doctor and you go to the correct doctor. So going, for example, to a surgeon might not necessarily be the correct doctor. This is what I'm saying, go to a psychiatrist. So you're not going to go to a brain doctor for a knee or a heart issue, okay? But going to the doctor so that they can actually listen to what you say you think you've got, or how it feels, and then they can do a diagnosis from there. Don't live without having a diagnosis and you suspect that there is, or you've been told that there's this problem or that problem, or look into this or look into that, because in the long run it benefits you and other people if you can say, I have depression, and I have this and I have that, and I take certain medications and I see a therapist. You're allowed to. It is okay.